Louisiana Beer Reviews, Nighthawk Premium Malt Liquor. Rule the night. Nighthawk Premium Malt Liquor is 5.5% alcohol, or well, at least that's what it says on Rate Beer. I could not get any other confirmation on that, because certainly the Melanie Brewing Company, who owns Nighthawk, they don't provide any kind of information, except they say we brew this, and they don't even have a website. They're just on Facebook. So they're trying to sell beer as cheap as possible. And you may know about the infamous Melanie Brewing Company, makers of Beer 30 Ice and Beer 30 Light, and a bunch of other malt liquors. But if it is 5.5% alcohol, that would make it the lowest rated malt liquor that I've ever heard of, that I'm aware of as far as alcohol rating. So they ought to call it Nighthawk Premium Light Malt Liquor, really, if that's true. It gets a D on Beer Advocate. I gave it a C+, actually. It gets a below average rating on Rate Beer, and it gets an average rating on The Beer and Me. So I have had it once before. I didn't find it was too cheap. I bought this at a small grocery store on Louisiana Highway 44 in LaPlace, Louisiana, and it was about $2.69 for this 40-ounce bottle. And I bought the Magnum malt liquor in Reserve, Louisiana, on US Highway 61 for $1.69. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I got a mug right out the freezer. It's getting pretty warm out here, so better get started. Didn't make much of a crack, but you can see it's got some carbonation here. No smoke. Okay, well, let's pour this. Well, as you can see, it's got a very thick white head, an extremely pale appearance. This is probably the palest malt liquor I've ever seen, to tell you the truth. I've noticed that Melanie products tend to be pale, but if you ever heard Earthquake High Gravity, that's very bright orange. And if you can drink that, you'll never have to prove your manhood again. Anyway, thick white head, unusually pale appearance, some carbonation, but there's not a whole lot of active carbonation like you see in other drinks, other American style lagers. Not as much, at least. Well, let's give this the smell test. Okay. You get some kind of fruit smell. I'm trying to figure out what it's like. Maybe apple cider type aroma, maybe some kind of straw, hay thinking. I know it's hard to place this, really. It's almost like even a pepper, black pepper aroma, which is unusual. Not bad, it's just strange. Alright, now the most important thing with these beer reviews, the taste test. The taste is light. You've got that fruitiness, an apple type fruitiness, similar to Mickey's, but you know, Mickey's I find is a little more cloying, possibly. This is not at all. You just pick up a very watery taste. I guess there's some grain flavor, but it's so subdued. The hop bitterness is almost nil. I mean, there's a little bit, but it's so minuscule that it's all malt. And you know this is going to have a lot of corn adjunct in it. Corn syrup, probably. The mouthfeel is very light and watery. But you know, it came in a clear bottle, and there's no skunkiness. And you know, and I don't know if you know this, but you have to worry about skunkiness in a clear or green bottle because it allows the light to come through and spoil the beer. So if you want to be on the safe side when you're buying beer, try to get any kind of beer in a brown bottle. The finish is crisp, dry, it's refreshing, I suppose. If you've never had a malt liquor and you're concerned that it'd be too harsh to drink, this would be the perfect one to start with because it's about the mildest malt liquor that I've ever had in my life. This is more similar to drinking Miller Lite or something like that, except it's probably, from my recollection, and I got to do a review of Miller Lite coming up, it's better than Miller Lite because at least it has some taste, you know, sweetness, and it doesn't have that disgusting mineral water character to it. So I'm going to stick with a C+ on this. It's average plus, okay? So it's more ordinary than anything. If you see it and you want to try it, go ahead. I wouldn't, you know, I'm not going to say don't try it, avoid it, or anything like that. So I'm going to end this review by saying y'all come on down to Louisiana, go to New Orleans, and visit the zoo.